Okay, so I've been talking about the prophecy of Jacob Wetling and Nathan Breeze, which includes quite a lot of dates, including today, Wednesday, 14th of February 2018, Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday. And it looks like there's going to be a cyclone on Jacob's birthday, Saturday, 17th of February, which is pretty cool because Jake is the storm boy. So a cyclone on his birthday this coming weekend looks likely, and I think it will be named Kelvin. Unless there's already been a sneaky little Kelvin that I don't know about, in which case it would be Linda. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. Interesting. So I'm going to just play something now about the weather today, Wednesday, 14th of February, 2018.
Widespread heavy rain and further flooding is likely through the northwest tropics of Australia over the next week. We'll get to the forecast total shortly. Firstly, let's recap the past 7 days. Well, it's been a dry week, hasn't it, for central and southern Australia. Most areas less than 1 millimetre of rain. And for our capitals, we've had less than 10 millimetres for all of you, really, apart from Brisbane, where we've had just over 20 millimetres over the past week. That included 13 millimetres from storms on Tuesday. And Darwin's picked up more than 100 millimetres over the past week, including well over 50 millimetres just in the past 24 hours. Even though the monsoon trough became inactive last week, we still have a developing monsoon trough over some parts of northern Australia right now, and with that we have a tropical low which will bring heavy rain to the top end over the next couple of days. That low is moving towards the west, and as a result heavy rain also moving towards the Kimberley. In the south, a pair of cold fronts, one Wednesday, one Thursday, bringing a burst of showers. Definitely the heaviest falls through western parts of Tasmania, only light falls for southern Victoria and coastal South Australia. Ridge of high pressure will replace the fronts by the time we hit the weekend, and we'll have showers and storms continuing through some parts of eastern Australia along a trough of low pressure. We've had severe storms the last 3 afternoons over southeast Queensland. More of the same over the next few afternoons, the threat of severe storms. This is convective, what we're seeing here up and down the eastern seaboard. Another front for Tasmania on Sunday with some further showers, not quite as heavy as what we are seeing on Wednesday though. And there's our tropical low, which may even develop into a cyclone off the north coast of WA over the weekend, and then move south through the first half of next week and bring further heavy rain and flooding to inland parts of WA. It's been that kind of wet season so far for that part of Australia. You can see though for central and eastern Australia, no major rain events coming through over the next week. Let's have a look at the totals. This is what we expect on Wednesday. We can see here where we expect the storms. Ignore the totals though, 1 to 5 millimetres. Well, if you get a storm, you could see 20 or 30 millimetres of rain, like we saw for the southern suburbs of Brisbane on Tuesday afternoon, or you'll end up with nothing if the storms dodge your place. That just shows the area where the storms are most likely. But heavy falls for northern Australia, about 50 millimetres for parts of the top end on Wednesday, and we are expecting about 20 millimetres for western parts of Tasmania. You can see though much lighter falls for the southeast mainland. On Thursday, our front bringing another 10 to 15 millimetres for western Tasmania. There's that heavy falls, heavy rain across the northwest tropics, gradually shifting further west through Friday. By the time we hit the weekend, definitely northern WA picking up the best falls there Saturday, and again on Sunday. It's indicated by the darker shadings of green. Just the odd shower and storm there for eastern Australia. Going through the totals on Monday, again heavy falls for the northwest tropics, not too much rain for central and southern Australia. Altogether over the next 8 days then, the black shading shows 400 millimetres plus along the North Kimberley coast, and the bright red 300 millimetres for parts of the western top end and other northern and western parts of the Kimberley. As a result, flash flooding and river flooding likely. The catchments are saturated due to heavy rain that we've already seen through 2018, so we are expecting fairly widespread flooding there. Less rain for northern Queensland. It looks like the monsoon this time will only affect that western part of the tropics, not expecting a monsoon flow for Queensland over the next week. For the eastern seaboard, an average of only 5 to 15 millimetres over the next week, up to 50 millimetres though for western Tasmania. A powerful cold front swept across southeastern Australia on Wednesday morning. It produced gale-force winds and also some rainfall. But why do cold fronts often bring severe weather? Well, we can explain it by looking at the chart. Behind the front, you have a southwesterly airstream. That's cold air coming up from the Southern Ocean. Ahead of the cold front, a warm northwesterly airstream. So there is a sharp temperature gradient across that cold front. Now, cold air is dense, it's heavy. Warm air is lighter. So the cold air pushes into the warm air. It's a little bit like putting your thumb on a hose, and that causes the water to speed up as it squirts out. That's why the winds pick up. These were some of the higher gusts that we saw this morning. Hogan Island had a gust of 150 kilometres per hour, King Island 146, St Kilda 109, and Wynyard 104 kilometres per hour. Deans Point near Hobart even had a gust close to 120 kilometres per hour. As a result of these strong winds, we had hundreds of call-outs to the SES across Melbourne. Shots from Melbourne as the front came in. Now, this is taken from near Port Phillip. You can see the strong winds coming through here and also the trees there blowing in the background. As a result of these strong winds, we had trees coming down across Melbourne. That led to delays across the roads and also across the train network. Now, as a result of that cold air running into the warm air, which is lighter, has to rise up, and that rising leads to cooling, condensation, therefore cloud cover, and often rain. Here's some more shots from Melbourne. There's Port Phillip once again. We had a band of heavy showers coming in, only brief though. If there's not enough moisture in the atmosphere, you don't always see heavy rain from fronts. Often in the winter you can see the heavy rain. We didn't see too much rain on this occasion. Here's another shot from Melbourne. We even had some dust. Now, it's not quite a dust storm, but visibility was down to 1,000 metres at Rocknabeal in the western part of Victoria as this front came through. Some heavier falls though across Tasmania from this system.
That's pretty interesting. Manhattan in New York City. Well, that's where the Jake comes from, in The Dark Tower by Stephen King. New York. Manhattan, actually. And Jacob Werteling, who was the same age as Jake Chambers in The Dark Tower, had a pet dog named Marcus. And that's kind of interesting because Jake Chambers in The Dark Tower named his pet, not dog, but Billy Bumbler, which is like a dog, Oi. Oi. And the Billy Bumbler could talk. So it said back to Jake, Oi. So Jake went with that and called his pet Billy Bumbler Oi instead of boy. Oi for boy. Oi. Marcus. Jacob Wetling had a pet dog named Marcus. Just thought I should tell you that. The rose is also really important in The Dark Tower. And it's the reflection of the boy, Marcus, who is actually Jake's dog. There you go. Or the boy rose from the dead. 75-57. The Boy from Manhattan, Jake Chambers, in The Dark Tower by Stephen King.